Try these 5 Suhoor foods if you want to minimize hunger while fasting and you want to lose fat and retain or even build muscle during Ramadan. The first one is eggs, and these are one of my favorites. They have good protein, healthy fats, micronutrients, and they don't cause that spike and crash in blood sugar, which is the reason why most people get hungry and tired during their fasts. The only downside is it can be hard to have an appetite to eat a lot of eggs in the morning. So you could try them hard boiled, you could try them over easy, you could try them in whatever format you like, but sometimes it's hard to eat a lot of eggs that early in the morning. The second Suhoor superfood is going to be Greek yogurt. This is one of my favorites because it's super delicious and very easy to eat in the morning, even when it's like 3 a.m. And it has casein protein, which is a slow digesting protein that will last you all day long, inshallah. Just make sure that you do the fat-free, sugar-free version like Chobani Zero Sugar Greek Yogurt or Oikos 000. And of course, be mindful if you have any digestive issues around dairy. For me personally, I get digestion issues from milk, but alhamdulillah, yogurt is fine. The third food is lean meats like sirloin steak and chicken breast. These have a lot of the same benefits as eggs. They have really good bioavailable proteins. They last you a good amount of time. They have a little bit of healthy fats, especially the sirloin. But the only downside is that they are pretty hard to eat in the morning for a lot of people. And some people do need to avoid red meat because they might have cholesterol concerns. The other thing is that they can be tricky to prepare in the morning. So the best strategy is to take some ground sirloin or ground lean beef and make some kebabs out of it. Or do the same with chicken breasts. So now you have kebabs, you just pop them in the air fryer in the morning and they're easy to prep. And if you have an appetite for them Suhoor, that'd be great. And we actually have a new recipe book coming out, inshallah, with this amazing new chicken nugget recipe. It's absolutely delicious, super low in calories, low in carbs, that will help as well. So stay tuned for that, inshallah. The other note before I dive into the last 2 foods is when it comes to these different lean meats, we want to make sure the meats are lean because you could use something like lamb, which is a fatty meat, but the problem with this is even though it's actually going to last you longer than some of the lean meats where you probably won't get hungry for the whole day if you eat lamb for Suhoor, the calories are just so high that you might end up gaining body fat during Ramadan and feeling a little bit tired and sluggish. So avoid fatty meats like brisket, ribeye. Maybe a lean ribeye could work if you factor it into your macros, but again, I don't want to make it overly complex, so usually sirloin is the safest steak option to stick with. By the way, you could also do salmon if you have an appetite for salmon in the morning. It's surprisingly easy to eat. I know a lot of my Bengali clients and listeners, of course, love fish. So number 4 is going to be whey protein. Now, whey protein is not going to last a super long time on its own, but the biggest thing is if you add it at the end of your meal, once you've already eaten everything else, it's going to kind of slow down the digestion. It's a great way to bump up the protein content of your meal. So let's say you can only get down 2 eggs and maybe you had like a good 4 ounces of meat because you didn't have a huge appetite for 8 ounces like you probably would normally eat. And so you're now at about 37 grams of protein, but we need a little bit more than that to last us for the entire day, especially if you're like a 200-pound man whose target is 200 grams of protein a day. So you can add in a whey protein shake, 50 grams of protein in 2 scoops, and boom, now you're at 87 grams of protein for your Suhoor. It's going to last you all day long, and you throw in a Greek yogurt or 2 on top of that, and now you've added another 11 or 22. You could easily get over 100 grams of protein for Suhoor and completely avoid the risk of losing muscle all day long. In fact, you might even build muscle in addition to retaining muscle as long as you're training properly in a way that, of course, doesn't take away from ibadah, which is the true priority in Ramadan. And number 5 is going to be a moderate quantity of healthy fats from something like nuts or avocado. Now, you do need to be careful with the quantities here because you could easily overeat your calories if you eat nuts, especially if you eat them later in the day. But even at Suhoor, right, you could easily snack on a ton of nuts and eat 1,000 calories of nuts, and all of a sudden you're in a surplus and you don't lose any body fat, and you probably gain fat during Ramadan. That's the one reason why a lot of people gain fat during Ramadan. So if you're going to eat nuts, I would limit it to 1 ounce of nuts, which is about 7 walnuts or about 20 to 25 almonds. And if you're doing avocado, I'd probably stick with half an avocado, as this is going to be, both those options are under 200 calories added to the Suhoor, which is going to prevent us from overdoing our calories for the day while still getting the satiating, long-lasting benefits of the healthy fats in a moderate quantity. Do you need help losing fat either before, during, after Ramadan, or maybe all 3? And not just losing it, but keeping it off for life in a healthy and sustainable, easy to follow way. Click on over to my bio where I have more info and I'll show you how we can use the modern Muslim method, inshallah, to boost your metabolism, lose fat and build muscle, and keep the fat off for life, inshallah.